Get ready to dive deeper in part 3 of our series. To maximize your enjoyment, consider checking out part 1 and 2 first, see links in description. Let's continue the adventure. Camping in the Woods Horror Stories, 3-part series. Part 3, A Corrupted Offering. Weeks bled into one another, the weight of Sarah's grandfather's journal a constant presence. The details of the ritual, the desperate final act to banish the entity, played on a loop in my mind. Hope battled with fear, a tug of war within my soul. Could we really perform this ritual? Did we have the courage to confront the creature once more, not to flee, but to fight? The prospect terrified me. Yet, the thought of Ben trapped in that monstrous entity's clutches, forever lost in the darkness, was even more horrifying. We knew the risks, the terrifying possibilities that awaited us within the forest. But the alternative was unthinkable. We owed it to Ben, to ourselves, to try. The ritual wasn't for the faint of heart. It spoke of venturing deep into the woods at the witching hour, the hour between midnight and dawn when the veil between worlds is said to be thinnest. It called for a silver amulet, a raven feather dipped in moonlight, and a vial filled with the essence of the forest itself, captured under a full moon. Finding the silver amulet turned out to be easier than expected. Sarah's grandmother, a woman steeped in old world beliefs and superstitions, possessed a small, intricately carved amulet she readily offered when she heard our story. The raven feather, however, presented a different challenge. We scoured the internet, pet stores, and even contacted local wildlife rehabilitation centers, all with no luck. Finally, after days of searching, a stroke of serendipity intervened. One rainy afternoon, while driving home from work, I spotted a lone raven perched on a telephone wire. Taking it as a sign, I pulled over and parked a safe distance away. To my surprise, the raven remained still, its obsidian eyes fixed on me. With a pounding heart, I approached cautiously, holding out an offering of bread I'd found in my car. After a moment's hesitation, the raven swooped down, snatching the bread in its beak. As it took flight again, a single black feather fluttered to the ground. It felt like a gift, a confirmation that unseen forces were guiding us. The final item, the essence of the forest captured under a full moon, was the most daunting task. We had to venture back into the woods, not to the abandoned cabin, but to a clearing bathed in moonlight, as specified in the journal. The thought of returning to that place sent shivers down my spine, but we steeled ourselves, fueled by a desperate resolve. The night of the ritual arrived, a night thick with oppressive darkness and a heavy silence broken only by the mournful hooting of an owl. Armed with the amulet, the raven feather, and a vial Sarah managed to fill with dew collected under a full moon, we ventured into the woods. The familiar path, once inviting, now felt menacing, every rustle of leaves and creak of a branch sending our nerves on edge. Reaching the clearing specified in the journal, we found a gigantic oak tree, its gnarled branches reaching towards the sky like skeletal fingers. Moonlight bathed the clearing in an ethereal glow, casting an eerie light on the surrounding trees. We gathered around the oak, our hearts pounding a frantic rhythm against our ribs. Sarah, surprisingly, took charge. She opened the journal and began reciting the chant in a clear, steady voice. It was a bizarre litany of words, seemingly devoid of meaning, yet they resonated with a strange power. As she chanted, the air around us crackled with an unseen energy. The wind picked up, moaning through the trees, and shadows danced in the moonlight. Then, it began. A low growl echoed from the depths of the forest, a sound that vibrated through the very ground beneath our feet. The growl grew louder, closer, until it emerged from the darkness, the creature, the skeletal hound with glowing red eyes. It was bigger, more monstrous than before, its razor-sharp teeth dripping with saliva. Panic threatened to consume me, but the image of Ben spurred me on. As the creature lunged, I whipped out the silver amulet and held it up, the symbol engraved upon it glowing with an intense white light. The creature recoiled, its guttural snarl turning into a high-pitched whine. Sarah continued chanting, her voice rising above the creature's whimpers. I grabbed the vial of moonlight and hurled it at the beast. Upon contact, the vial shattered, and the essence of the forest engulfed the creature. It writhed and shrieked, its form twisting and contorting as if in agony. Liam, ever resourceful, threw the raven feather into the fray. As the feather touched the creature, a brilliant white light erupted, blinding us momentarily. When the light subsided, the clearing was empty. The creature, the entity that had terrorized us, was gone. Silence descended, thick and heavy. We stood there, panting and trembling, unsure of whether to believe our eyes. A wave of nausea washed over me, the culmination of weeks of fear and tension. Had it really worked? Was Ben free? Just as we were about to celebrate our victory, a single, chilling sound shattered the silence. A faint moan, weak and desperate, echoed from the direction of the abandoned cabin. We exchanged nervous glances, a flicker of hope battling with a nagging dread. Ben? Sarah called out, her voice barely a whisper. The moaning grew louder, more distinct. It was definitely Ben, but his voice sounded weak, raspy, almost inhuman. With newfound resolve, we started towards the cabin, our initial fear replaced by a fierce determination to bring our friend back. The walk back seemed shorter, our adrenaline pumping, fueled by the hope of finding Ben. As we reached the clearing where the cabin stood, a wave of relief washed over me. The boarded windows were gone, replaced by an unnatural glow emanating from within. The air crackled with a strange energy, and the familiar symbols seemed to swirl and shift on the cabin walls. With a deep breath, we pushed open the creaking door and stepped inside. The scene that greeted us was unlike anything I'd ever seen. The cabin interior was transformed. Gone was the dust and decay. In its place was a swirling vortex of darkness that pulsed with a malevolent light. In the center of the vortex, his body contorted and twisted, hung Ben. His eyes, once vibrant and full of life, were now vacant white orbs, glowing with the same malevolent light as the vortex. His voice, the one we'd heard from outside, filled the cabin once more, but it wasn't Ben's voice anymore. It was a guttural rasp, a blend of Ben's voice and the entity's monstrous shriek. We stood there, frozen in horror as Ben's twisted form pulsed with malevolent energy. The entity had outsmarted us, used the ritual to its advantage. The raven feather, the vial of moonlight, they hadn't banished the creature, they'd become its new vessel, a vessel that now bore an unsettling resemblance to our friend. A choked sob escaped Sarah's lips, but her eyes remained dry, burning with a desperate resolve. "There has to be another way," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. In that moment, I knew this wasn't over. We had to save Ben, even if it meant venturing deeper into the darkness, uncovering the secrets the woods held close. The entity might have twisted the ritual, but somewhere within those ancient trees, within the whispers of the wind and the secrets buried beneath the earth, lay the key to breaking its hold. We had stumbled into a horrific game, and the stakes couldn't be higher. This wasn't just about friendship anymore, it was about facing the darkness within ourselves, a darkness that mirrored the entity's own. The forest loomed before us, no longer a place of fear, but a battlefield. We had a choice to make: retreat and live with the guilt, or delve deeper, confront the unknown, and fight for our friend's soul. As the first rays of dawn painted the sky in soft hues of pink and orange, casting the clearing in an eerie glow, we knew what we had to do. We may not have won the battle, but the war was far from over. The whispers in the woods had only just begun.